News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Welcome to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning.
And I'm Allan Gilbreth with darkoakpressmedia.com.
And I'm Maximilian, this time in the ether.
Yeah, okay. You can hear Allan sound a little off. Is Allan's levels okay, Max? I couldn't hear him. Anyway, hey, you can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And we invite you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. Give us a like. Check out all the action, including the very unique must-have item of the week. Well, guys, so if you can hear some of that if you can hear a nice, pleasant breeze in the background, and I don't know if sunshine translates. We are here at the Memphis Italian Fest. It's a beautiful day, man. It's you couldn't really ask for better weather. It's the 31st annual Memphis Italian Fest. And Allan, this is your wheelhouse, man. You live for this kind of thing.
Oh my goodness, yes. We're outside. There's food cooking. It's just delightful.
So get over here. It's a great family event. There's really things for everybody, and like we said, the weather's perfect. It's over at the corner of Park and Mendenhall, so it's really it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, speaking of that, Allan, one of our buddies, Cindy Williams from Shelf Genie of the Mid-South, is she's here. They're set up. You know, she's in her mobile command center. And folks, now this is her. I would call it this is her smaller setup, but she's going to be dropping in. She might have to call in. I don't know. We have guests that may or may not show up, so I don't really want to tease them. So,
there's a lot of distractions here, Joe.
Yeah, Allan's going to have to focus. They're over there. Yeah. They're cooking already.
I'm already losing it.
There's an outdoor kitchen, and I think we're also going to get one of the. So, Allan, we've got the defending. They've won this 6 years in a row. The defending champions, Scott Maines, with Mama Biondini's. That's their tent. They're over here about 50 feet from us. Allan is drooling. They're getting their stuff ready. He might be dropping in to give us kind of a background of what it's like to compete in the contest, set up, get set up and all that. So, but Allan, we're not deterred. We also have a great Critter Wars. I got video of this. I need to remember to put it up on our Facebook. Yeah. But this is Snakes versus Concrete Primer. Who wins in that battle? I found out. I got hard evidence of what happens in that situation. We have. Of course, we have our must-have item of the weeks. We got quite a few things, and Max has one of his deep cuts, which I guess you said, Max, this is going to be something we're going to really enjoy, right?
Oh yes, definitely.
All right, Max is really going to enjoy.
Well, it's in honor of D-Day, because D-Day's coming up. We don't forget about our veterans and everything. So it's going to be sort of a unique one, and Max promises it'll be interesting. And once again, we invite you to call or text at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. So it's all coming at you today on Tool Talk Radio. But before we get to any of that.
And now, Tool Talk Radio's weekly salute.
Sometimes a blending of elements can yield good results. Life on Earth wouldn't be possible without the perfect blending of conditions, in particular our location in the solar system and the abundance of liquid water on our planet. Right, Allan?
Indeed.
One of the things that makes Star Wars so great is the blending of interesting characters and the fascinating worlds they inhabit. Okay. Max to produce. You didn't react, Allan. I mean, I'm feeding you good stuff. Okay.
I'm just you know what? I'm distracted.
No Jar Jar Binks comments. Max, the multitasking producer, often likes to blend his martial arts training with his meal preparation, which actually led to the creation of some of his signature dishes, most notably his punched egg souffle, his karate-chopped beef tenderloin, and the ever-famous roundhouse-kicked and foot-tossed gluten-free vegetarian pizza.
Oof.
Max, I hope you washed your feet before that one, man.
I'm the only one eating, and I don't have to worry about enough germs.
And, of course, when Allan Gilbreth was attempting to break into Broadway by writing the next big action musical, his approach was to blend several genres together in order to attract multiple fan bases. And so, when he presented his pitch for Jack the Ripper versus Weird Al Yankovic versus the Teletubbies, He was already mentally preparing his acceptance speech for the inevitable Tony Award this magnum opus would win. Unfortunately, however, the theatrical executives didn't agree and found fault with several key points with Allan's production. Most notably, his plans to give the giant sun baby the power to breathe fire, which in their opinion would never pass OSHA standards, his insistence that the role of Tinky Winky could only be played by Robert Downey Jr., which could prove cost prohibitive, and that the lyrics to the musical's big show-stopping number entitled "I'll Gut Your Accordion Like a Fish" were found to be of poor taste and too shocking for younger audience members. Allan, you're a visionary. I
got news for you. It didn't bother the focus group at all.
You talk about a catchy tune, man. That's an earworm. Yes, throughout the history of the human race, we have continued to invent and innovate, not only in the things we build, but what we build things out of. And this especially holds true when it comes to working with metals. After millennia of studying the strengths and weaknesses of different metals, metallurgists have also discovered the benefits of blending several elements together to create the remarkable metal we celebrate today. My friends, we give you aluminum.
Yeah.
Or, if you will, aluminium.
Aluminium.
We got there, Allan. It took a while, but
I wish every now and then, rather than the applause, I could just give a boo.
Well, you got the foghorn, the foghorn sound effect there, Max.
Not the same.
All right, butt out, Max. Well, so, okay, Allan, aluminum I thought was worthy of a salute because it's a fairly recent discovery. In terms of, if we're going to talk about history, it is a recent discovery.
All right, it's a recent discovery and how to get to it.
Right. Okay, Allan, I got full disclosure. You know, it's funny. When I write these things, I usually start with what I want to insult you with or something. Mm-hmm. Then I fill it in. Then I actually do the research.
And then you actually find a fact or two to back it up.
Well, I in my naivete, I thought actually aluminum was a blending of different metals.
No.
It's a blending of elements. But tell us what aluminum is. I thought this was actually a fascinating education I got.
Basically, alum. Or aluminum oxide,
yeah,
is actually one of the biggest fillers of the planet Earth.
That's interesting. What is
it's
now?
Everywhere. It's everywhere. So, all right, now most things exist in nature as some form of blend or oxide. So let's say we're going to go.
What oxide means, to blend something?
Well, the oxide means it has oxygen in it.
Oh, gotcha.
So let's pick on something easy. Let's pick on a piece of iron.
Okay.
And if you leave it out in the rain, what happens to any piece of iron?
Yeah, rust.
It's going to rust.
Right.
It becomes iron oxide.
Right.
All right, well, iron oxide is what we actually find. And then we have to refine it.
Just buried in the ground?
Well, the core of the earth is iron. So we find all of these things are digging, mining, finding things.
Would they get, sorry, Allan, but I interrupt when I get interested.
It's all right, I'm ready.
Would they get stirred up by the shifting tectonic plates and everything? Does that make it, well,
that actually changes because of the pressures and that kind of stuff. It actually changes what is there and how it got there.
I got
you. So here we go. We have planet Earth, and we have a lot of aluminum oxide.
Right.
The problem is aluminum oxide is really friendly.
Yeah.
And it blends with everything.
That's the problem?
And that is the problem because we couldn't figure out how to get it loose.
Okay.
So, like iron was easy. You just got it really, really hot.
Right.
And the slag and the stuff would come out, and then we could make stuff out of it.
Right.
Aluminum, well, it doesn't react like that. It is basically electrolysis. So aluminum was not possible without electricity.
Now, I didn't know that. I thought it was a chemical thing.
Well,
so
it was a long chemical process.
Okay.
Modern aluminum, all right, now keep in mind, at one point in time, aluminum was considered to be rarer and far more valuable than gold.
I got my notes here, Allan. I got a funny story about that.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, this is so apparently Napoleon was a big proponent of aluminum. I did a little
Yes.
digging, and you already knew this story, but I'll, hey, this is my research, Alan, so I get
Absolutely.
So it said he hoped he could find a lightweight metal that he could use to make weapons for his soldiers.
Yes.
But it wasn't really working out for him. I guess, I don't know, aluminum doesn't strike me as a very good weapon. It may be parts of like if you had a sword or something, but maybe the sheath, but it seems like it would bend easier, right? I mean, and maybe it wouldn't stay sharp as long.
Well, again, it depends on what you wrapped it around.
Okay. Well, whatever it was,
Right.
whoever his weapon experts were, they weren't getting it done. So he got frustrated and melted it down and turned it into cutlery. But the funny thing is, when he would have these big dinners, all the honored guests got the aluminum forks and knives, and then all
Yes.
the peasants had to use gold.
Yeah, they had to make do with the gold because it was the common thing.
And apparently, when aluminum came out, so back in the day, it was like $16 a pound. We're talking the 1800s here, which is equivalent to $419 in our money. And then as soon as they discovered how to make it commercially viable, like you say, with the
Right.
electrolysis and all this, it dropped to like $2 a pound. It became
Yes.
so. But I didn't realize how abundant it was. It's everywhere, huh?
It is, well, today we hear a lot about bauxite. Bauxite mines and that kind of stuff, where aluminum is very easily extracted by modern methods.
Okay. Gotcha.
Now, to dive into how you make aluminum, we haven't got that kind of time today. It is a complex system.
Right.
But the early metallurgists understood it was there, understood that through a very long, complicated process, they could derive it. And it was so important in 1884 when we opened the Washington Monument, right?
Yeah.
It was capped with
Aluminum.
There you go. Because aluminum,
And that made it more popular, right? Like
Oh,
suddenly it was in the mainstream.
big shiny
Right.
thing up there on top. Oh my gosh, people went wild over this stuff.
Right.
But as with all modern things, the better we got at making it, the more we kept finding.
Right.
The easier it kept getting, the better the process got refined. So poor aluminum, as we call it here on this side of the pond,
Yeah.
a quick shout out to all of our New Zealand, UK, and Scotland listeners now.
Oh, yeah.
We're picking up, all of you guys, I think you believe you pronounce it aluminium.
Yeah.
So the big thing was it's not rare.
Well,
And now we make it by the metric tons.
Alan, we're glancing over something, and just for my own clarity, because
Mm-hmm.
I like to think I ask the everyman questions. What does it actually look like? If you just dig and you found some aluminum, is it a chunk
You're
of
not
metal?
going to find it.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. What is it? What is it that they? Is it like they mixed a bunch of things together?
Well, it is when you're breaking things apart.
Uh-huh.
So as metallurgists were experimenting with other combinations, they would find these little leftovers. Think like Teflon. The researchers were looking for one thing, and then they couldn't wipe the stuff out of the test tube, and they discovered something even better.
Okay.
So aluminum was kind of this weird byproduct of all of these different, and we're going back to not even metallurgy, we're going back to trying to convert lead to gold.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, we're back in the Middle Ages with the cat's paw and the whole.
We're in Dwight Schrute territory.
Yes, we're somewhere between UFOs, ancient aliens, and magic.
Alan, you know what you're making me think, and you knew it was going to lead this way. So one thing we've talked about here on Tool Talk Radio is the detecting ability that a lot of technology is bringing us. Like, there may be a time you could take an app on your phone and just point it at the ground in your yard and look at what's 50 feet or 100 feet below it or something, and we're getting to these stages. Well, it's making me wonder what else we're going to discover. We've barely scratched the surface. We don't really know what's, there could be things in there, and if we can extract them and they're useful, like aluminum or something, but
Well,
I don't know.
well, Joe, you're actually setting up the domino effect
Right.
of technology, because early on we discovered copper, and copper was easy because you could see copper.
Right.
You found rocks that were green, and occasionally you found rocks that looked like pennies.
Yeah.
They were shiny, and if you were determined enough with a hammer, you could beat the rock out of it and actually have a piece of metal. So, from the very, very earliest stages, somebody went, hey, look, This thing, we can roll it up and pound it down and make it sharp and pointy and shiny, and it looks good. One thing that humans have always been kind of guilty of, if it's shiny, we like it.
Yeah, good point.
So we would beat and beat and beat this down, and now suddenly we have a metal.
Yeah.
And then we get into copper, and then from there you begin looking for other shiny objects. And you get into, from the Copper Age, we move to the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
And each age brings us newer and better materials.
Well, the other thing the reason I wanted to mention aluminum, Allan, is because, okay, in our modern applications, I can tell you, I mean, the one thing it made an impact on me. I learned this when I was a kid, and basically that aluminum, you could stick some aluminum foil in the oven.
Yes.
If you just stuck it in there, you could put the 400 degrees, reach in there, and the aluminum, you could just pick it up with your hand. It's not
pretty close, yeah.
It doesn't really hold heat. If there's some grease or something on it, that's the hot part. But that always fascinated me, and I thought there's got to be a ton of applications for something when it doesn't conduct heat. Like I'm sure there's several tools that we use that aluminum would be a big benefit because it's.
Well, about the fact that simple, little, thin aluminum foil is powerful enough to reflect microwaves.
Well, the tinfoil hat guys.
There is actually a reason we make that joke.
Right.
Is you can actually, if we lined this tent with aluminum foil, we would be basically making a Bernoulli box, so that actual signals, Wi-Fi, would not penetrate.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the power of just that little bitty thin little tinfoil you have laying around the house.
And how is it with conducting electricity? Because I know that it'll go through a ladder. We've learned that the hard way.
We both learned that. Aluminum is fantastic with electricity.
Okay.
That is why you see it in so many printed circuit boards. That's why aluminum has become such an integral part of our modern life. Think about all the aluminum cookware sets out there.
Max, keep score. Today we've got a drinking game.
You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it through the first hour. I'm surrounded by Italian food.
We're at the Italian fest. The cooking references.
The food dude is on full force today.
Okay.
But
yeah, the cooking I could see for sure. Well, for one thing, it doesn't rust.
Exactly. It doesn't oxidize like iron does.
Right.
It doesn't need once you've got it. Now, the other cool thing with aluminum is that it's really easy to constantly reproduce it.
Right.
So in your backyard, with like some plaster of Paris and some sand, you can actually make a kiln that will melt aluminum, and you can make your own aluminum ingots.
Well, we may get there, Allan. I don't know.
I've already done this with a friend. We've sat around melting cans down, making aluminum ingots, and actually a bizarre bit of artwork these days. You want to talk about truly bizarre, is to take like a big fire ant nest, go melt about a quart of aluminum, and pour it in the top of the fire ant nest, and then they dig it up, and here is this bizarre, just beautiful sculpture of how the ants made the nest.
They don't like it, but I've seen those, and then they hose it off.
Well, you don't like fire ants anyway, so you know.
It doesn't end well for them, but that's a Friday night at your house.
Well, it's an option.
Okay.
So welcome to aluminum. Now, aluminum hasn't finished evolving because now we have dozens of different grades of aluminum.
Yeah.
We have everything, pretty much the highest class in right now, I believe, we just generally call aircraft aluminum. Brother, you talk about lightweight and hard.
Right.
This stuff is amazing. The softest aluminum would be like your soda cans.
Yeah.
Now, here's a trick. The aluminum that makes the tab is not the same grade aluminum as the can.
Yeah.
It's actually a harder, better aluminum.
Very interesting. Yeah, aluminum, I think that may carry through.
Welcome to the future.
All right, you know who's probably very interested in this aluminum discussion, Allan, because he's always interested in technology, and I'm sure aluminum plays a role in his world. Larry Brown from Brown Refrigeration.
It plays a big part in his world,
in the
matter
HVAC
of fact.
world. Well, if you've got any HVAC needs, and we like to encourage people to rethink the way you look at it. Your HVAC system is sort of the heart and soul of your home, And you need to have a relationship with your HVAC provider, kind of like you have a relationship with a mechanic. If you find a good mechanic, you hold on to them for life. And your unit needs to be tuned up. It may need replacement at some point, but it's also, we talk about the you're conditioning the air, which also comes down to the Remy Halo system with the clean air systems. It's not just cooling it off or heating the home. It's getting the quality of air up, and they do it all at Brown Refrigeration. They have a great business culture. They're rock solid. They're riding out all of these supply chain issues and everything like that. And also the one thing about all of these systems, they tie in with the smart home system, so you can control it from your cell phone, and they do it all over at Brown Refrigeration. So get in touch with Larry Brown. You can call him directly at 901-362-1881 or go to their website, brownref.com. All right, Allan. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. If we're lucky, I think we're going to get one of the competitors from the cooking contest here at the Memphis Italian Fest. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here at News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I wonder if they're fraternal or identical tools.
News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis.
All right, Max, I thought we agreed we're getting rid of those two jerks.
No, it's precisely because you're on location that I felt like bringing back the jerk.
All right. Anyway, welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there back at the studio.
And it's not it's the command center, not the studio.
Max, the interrupting producer.
You're welcome.
You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And we invite you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and give us a like. I've already posted the must-have item of the week, and I've got to remember, Allan, I got some interesting video of a snake that had an encounter with some concrete primer.
Snake with an attitude.
I'll get that posted at the break. But anyway, we'd love to talk to you. We're over here at the Memphis Italian Festival. It's the 31st annual Memphis Italian Fest. They haven't been able to hold it since 2019. And boy, am I glad. You couldn't have ordered a better day. It's comfortable. We're in a nice shady spot. It's not open yet. I think they open at 11. But it's going to start picking up here in just a bit, and it's a great family event. It's if you've never been here, it's over in East Memphis at Park and Mendenhall. Really a lot of fun. Bring your family. Great food. Tonight's the big. They have lots of great music. Check their website. Go to their Facebook page. They have updates over there. Memphis Italian Festival. But hey, Allan, it wouldn't be right if we didn't get the cooking talk going, and I thought, who better to invite on the show than the let's make sure I want to introduce him properly. Scott Maines from Team Mama Biondini. That's right. Scott, you guys have won 5 of the last 7 years of the cooking contest. Is that right?
No, we made the finals. The final 6 teams.
Okay.
Is who makes the finals, and then we won this last year. So we're defending champs.
Okay, and you said you're pretty confident. You fully intend to win this year too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I see Allan. He's already got his Miller Lite over here. Is that how you guys roll over there? 8 in the morning.
Well, we finished a bottle of Jameson last night, so we had to drink something. So. Yeah, we're going with the Miller Lite right now. We'll see how it works out.
Well, you guys, when you get to the Memphis Italian Fest, if you've never been here before, it's real cozy. It's like you guys almost set up your own portable, almost restaurant space. They're these big, tents. They're like 20 feet across, 10 feet, whatever. They're about 20 by 20, I would say, Allan. You guys got a picket fence. You've got a portable kitchen, and this is your headquarters for the weekend.
Absolutely. So we've been in it since '98. So we got aprons all around our fence for each of the years that we've been in it, and of course we've got a trophy display that we almost had to get a whole booth for because we got so many. But we found space.
Yeah, Scott's not shy about it.
Hey, it's confidence if you win. It's arrogance if you don't.
What do they say? It ain't bragging if you can do it.
That's it.
That's
it.
Okay, so what is this contest like? Because among other things, you're basically entertaining. You got people in and out of your booth. Are you the main cook, or do you got a whole team over here? Or
yeah, we had the eldest male. It's a family team, so the eldest male has the kitchen, and my uncle had the kitchen about 8 years ago. I took over the kitchen. He moved up to New York, and you can't have Northerners cooking the 5% gravy. So he got fired. But no. But we so I have some buddies that I grew up with that help me, and my son. I got a 26-year-old son is back in the kitchen with me now. Love that. My 15-year-old boy even did some work, and I hadn't seen him work in years. So that was nice. But no, everybody, when you win, everybody wants to come help. I haven't seen this many people in my booth this early ever. But everybody's here.
You guys were here at 7 in the morning, and
7 o'clock.
and the contest is not till what? We got 5 or 6 hours till.
Yeah, we have blind. We turn out a blind box at 11. So you put it in a nice big cup and then take it to the judges, and then 15 minutes later we'll get 3 judges every 15 minutes, and then they decide if you make finals. If you make finals, they bring 3 judges to you at one time, and the same 3 go taste all 6. So they're pretty full probably when they get done.
Wow,
yeah.
I can't imagine what that's like. Yeah, I mean, I think by the time but
let
Allan,
me tell you about judging food contests.
yeah,
Oh,
how do
my
you
gosh,
pace
yeah.
yourself, Allan? 'Cause, I mean,
Well, the big thing is making sure you've got your palate cleansed. As you don't want a little leftover garlic from booth A following you over to booth B.
right.
So there's a lot of sipping, rinsing, spitting, chewing gum. There's a lot of getting that palate clear so that when you sit down at the next competitor, you get a good clean showing. And the other thing is good notes.
I was
You
gonna
got to
say.
take. I mean, you'll see every judge with that pen clicked, and they'll take a little sip and they'll write longer than it took them to take a bite.
Well, Scott, what is the criteria? Okay, so let's just be clear here. This trophy's awesome. We're gonna post it. It's
I still want
basically
that trophy.
a spaghetti pot up on a pedestal with all the names of the winners. I guess they're gonna run out of plaque space soon. They're gonna have to make the base bigger or something.
Funny enough, that this year we won. It actually was the last spot for a plaque. And then they added a row. I was like, we get to keep it, right? I mean, because you got nothing to do with it now. It's
Right.
No.
It didn't work out.
No,
Didn't work out.
But so there's a lot of bragging rights with this. But what? So we're talking about a spaghetti sauce cooking competition. Well,
Gravy.
Gravy? Okay, sorry. See, I'm from the
It's
north.
all right.
Sorry, I'm
Sauce
still
is
working on it.
marinara. You throw meat in it, it becomes gravy.
Okay, so Scott, what is your criteria? Okay, for one thing, 2 questions. Do you do the same recipe every year? Number 2, how do you wow the judges? I mean, isn't there a lot of subtleties and just things to think about with gravy?
Yeah, you're out in the elements, so it adds a little bit more fun to the excitement. But I pretty much make the same thing. The base is my grandmother's recipe for sure, and then we've added some things like she would have never used as expensive the meats that we use.
Right.
She would have slugged me in the mouth.
She was on a budget, huh? Yeah.
Her philosophy was, let's feed as many people as we can. When we empty a can, it has to be, there can't be any stuck to the sidewall, nothing. It better all be in that pot. And she's gone. She's passed on with me, as well as my grandfather. But they watching. I know.
Can we give a shout out? Tell me, because I'm looking. I don't know if I can pronounce his last name correctly.
Yeah, it's Laszlo Cheney and Francis Biondini.
That does not look like Cheney to me.
I know.
There's
He's Hungarian, so
Yeah.
Well,
so there's paprika in our gravy. That's to give you the secret.
You've got a great photo of Laszlo. You've got, I will say, you've got almost a trophy wall. You've got all your trophies displayed. You got Laszlo up there in his World War II uniform. I love the whole tradition because you had people of all ages in your tent the other day.
Yeah, we feed 100. Last night we fed 200 people in our booth.
Oh my goodness!
We made 15 dozen handmade ravioli. We got together about 3 weeks ago. A good buddy of mine, Stephen Coletto. We went to his restaurant out in Bartlett, barred the back room, and we roll it by hand. Everything's by hand. Everything, My grandfather told me when you're kneading the dough, I'm like, man, he kept every time I'd look at him and say, "Am I done?" He goes, "No, not yet. Keep going." And I'm like, man, when do I know if it's
a
done?
workout? Yeah.
He says when the ceiling's leaking.
Yeah.
When sweat's dropping off your head, that's when you're done. That's what he said. So I'm like, all right, man. I'm not going to sweat in it, though, if that's okay.
I was about to say, okay, I think I draw the line at sweating. I guess that gives that an extra salty flavor or something. But
well, it depends on what you drink. But, yeah.
So fresh ingredients, all for, because I mean, if I could, I would eat Italian food for every meal. But, obviously all the carbs and everything. But, man, when you talked about homemade ravioli. Yeah. Oh my gosh, does that sound good?
So in the contest, they are judging the gravy, but they allow you to have any accompaniment with it if it helps enhance it or whatever. So we always drop some ravioli on the bottom of the bowl and then put the gravy on the top. And then if they want to go deep and get some ravioli, if they just want to taste the gravy, they can taste the gravy. So that's some extra stuff that we try to throw in because, I mean, who doesn't want homemade ravioli?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm all over that. And so, do you have a favorite Italian food, Scott? Like, what's your go-to, man?
Man, I'd have to say it's Mama Biondini gravy.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
On anything, basically?
Man, get some knot bread, dip it in there, chow down.
It's
There
great,
you go.
man. Hey, Scott, if people wanted to drop by and look at your trophy wall, are they allowed to do that? Because I know
Absolutely.
everybody's got their own booth. You can't
Yeah.
just, folks, if you show up here at the Memphis Italian Fest, you might, you don't just barge into people's booths. If you want to look at something, they'll probably be more than happy to let you see it. Scott is not shy about bragging about all their achievements over there, but it's
Oh, you
impressive.
can't
You
be.
got
Can't
a
be.
whole wall of.
Yeah, that's right. Now, the one thing that people should know is that we aren't allowed to serve food,
Right.
because we don't have a vendor license. We don't. Nobody wants to get in trouble, right? So if they come up to get food, we're not being mean. We just can't do it,
Right. It's almost like it's like a house party. It's like a
Yeah.
backyard dinner party or something like that. So
Yep.
it's great though. The extent to the way you've got it decorated is great. It looks really cool at night. It looks like because Allan, I've been to Italy. I went when I was a kid, and I just remember. If I remember anything about it, I remember the coziness of those dinners and just how delicious the food was. I mean, that's what they're all about there. So,
Well, the one thing I do want to point out is even though there's a lot of private setups out here, there are a lot of public food vendors as well.
Right. You
So,
can eat.
Yeah,
still.
it's not like you're going to walk around and smell the food and can't get a taste. It's just you have to
Absolutely.
go to the commercial vendors
Right.
that have the health inspections and the licenses and everything that they're supposed to have.
Yeah, they have a
Now the
Coletta's booth,
competitors
so,
is
here,
the
so.
competitors is a little different.
Yep.
A little different ball game. But yeah, there's plenty of food here, so don't think you can't.
Yeah,
You can.
and live music and everything. But Scott, what's the bigger job, setting up the? Because it's a pretty impressive display. I'm sure it takes quite a while to set up. But is it the cooking or the setup? Man?
Well, we break it up pretty good. We do barbecue as well, and this is obviously so much easier and so much better. So once you've had that, and then 2 weeks later you get to do this, and you're like, wow, this is really easy. So
Really?
you try to set the tone, and then you're like, oh, all right. Well, we chip in. I mean, I have probably on Tuesday I have a bunch of guys jump in cars, and we go fill up a trailer with the fence and the flooring, and then the tent, of course, gets set up by McAfee or whoever did it. I'm not sure. But we go pick everything up on Tuesday, drop it, set up a little bit, and then Wednesday at noon, my sister and my mom and whoever they can lasso into it come out and start decorating. So my sister's really responsible for most of what you see there in the decorating side. I'm just a functional guy, I want to make the food and I want to make it right. I don't
Right.
care if I look pretty when I do it.
There you go.
I guess that's why I'm on radio right now, because I ain't dang pretty.
I don't know.
right.
I did
But-
say dang, by the way.
Yeah, it's
You're
all right.
welcome.
There you go.
Hey, you watched your good job. Hey, but Scott, the how long have you been going to? Because I've been coming to the Italian Fest almost since I moved to Memphis in like 1995, and it evolved. It started in the parking lot at Holy Rosary Church, and it's a full blown festival. They get probably 15 or 20,000 people. But how long have you been going here?
98.
Oh,
but
so-
if you look who won it in 2020, COVID won it in 2020.
Yeah, they actually
Saw
stuck
that.
COVID on the trophy.
Yep.
So 98. What did it look like back then? Because I remember it looked similar to this, but
Yeah, it was here.
Yeah.
The booths were a little smaller. You had a wait list.
that's
and
what. Yeah,
they kept-
everybody wanted in.
Every year they I don't even know if they discuss it anymore, but somebody brings it up. They talk about moving it somewhere so they can add more teams and make it bigger.
No.
You can't move it away from Holy Rosary. I mean we had the mass come through yesterday, put Mary up, and
Right.
did a blessing. Priest came around, the holy water.
Father Gallagher. Yeah.
I threw some of my gravy back at him because it's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of holy.
yeah.
Oh, you want to?
That's frowned upon. I don't know why.
So you got your gravy blessed. No wonder.
Oh, yeah.
No wonder you win every
Oh,
year.
yeah.
And every advantage you can go with. Right?
Yeah. No, I don't think you could beat the location though. It's very cozy. I love the way the trees are, the winding path that goes
Yeah.
through here. It's perfect. If it gets crowded, so be it. But it's just I love it here. I hope they never move. So
It's perfect. The vendors are nice, man. You get the arts and crafts, and we have some food. And at the end of the night left over, we take them some food, give them a little snack. My sister's the best barterer in the business.
Is she?
A plate of
Okay.
food, half price.
Okay. All right. So what's the rest of your morning look like? Because I see your workers over there. They're getting the tables spread out. It smells delicious already.
So we do our veggies. So I have a veggie bomb. It's 7 or 8 veggies in there, and we put it aside, saute it, make it translucent. That's nice. And get the meats. got some good meats. Can't tell you, but they're good. And cook those on the other side, and then we start to get the sauce going before we combine it all for the gravy. And when we get that going, I put some whole carrots in there so that I know when it's done. If you cook the gravy too long, it gets bitter.
Right.
And so you see people add sugar at the, I did too much. And out here it's easy because sometimes you have to turn the burner up a little higher because the wind's blowing and you're cooking it faster than you want to and all that. Of course, like you said, today's a beautiful day, so we can't blame it on the elements. I'll just blame it on my sous chefs.
Yeah, but I will say this, Scott. I don't know how I don't know if you thought about this, but if your kitchen is completely exposed, what if we got rain? What was your contingency plan?
Well, we cook through it. We can,
You get wet, Joe. You get wet.
Let me just tell you, we've got rain before, and you just have to muscle through. Sometimes we'll set up a little pop-up tent or do something. We got that canopy tent over there, and just get the one pot that we're running with off under it, and I sit out there and get wet.
Okay. You got to suffer for your art, as we've said many times.
Yeah.
I got one other thing I'm very curious about. What is the okay? Because I haven't counted, but I'd have to guess there's at least 40 competitors here, 40 or 50 tents.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the nature? What is the competitive nature among all the people? The groups of competitors. Are you guys good sports, or is this cutthroat dog eat dog, or what does the behind the scenes look like here?
You get a lot of good lucks. Last
Do they
year,
really mean it?
you can't trust an Italian. No, we last year when we won, we had several of the people, and we were in the finals a lot, and a lot of the same teams end up in the finals a lot. I mean, it just happens. I mean,
Right.
they cook. Everyone out here is cooking with their heart and their passion. Their recipes are all good. I mean, It's great Italian food all around the park, mostly, except for the people that fell asleep and burned their gravy. But the other people, it's good. But, when they come by afterwards, they're coming by and going, "Oh, yeah, good job, you won. How did you do it? What'd you set up?
Yeah.
Here?" And
What's your recipe, by the way?
Let me have a taste.
You need to get on out of here now.
Figure out what you did different.
That's what I keep wondering, because Allan's told me he knows what the 11 herbs and spices are in Kentucky Fried Chicken, which I don't believe, but he said,
No, I do
so,
indeed.
Allan, if you went up to there, would you be able to tell what's got stuck in that gravy? Or?
If I get a bowl of it, I could come up with about 80-90% of it.
I'll bring you a bowl.
And we can sit around and, all right. But see, he's already given away the secret on how to win these things.
What's that?
And that is, you don't cook food.
Okay.
You assemble food.
I don't know what you mean by that.
All right. Well, what I mean by that is you'll notice he has different stations set up doing different things.
Right.
Because different items cook different ways with different results. And then when you combine them, you recombine the results. So he hasn't got one pot over there with everything in it, all cooking at the same rate, at the same time, doing the same thing.
Right.
What he's done is he's done his veggies. He's got his meats. He's got his sauce. He's got his spice blend. And I pretty much guarantee the spice blend doesn't go all in at one time.
Are you giving away too many of the secrets here?
No,
what do you think of this, Scott?
These are competitor secrets for everybody. I used to compete all the time with barbecue. And, the big thing is you got to get that smoke ring in there.
Right.
And then you started working on the layers and the different effects. And so he said he does barbecue. He does the same thing. So basically what you're doing, it's like you and I building something.
Right.
You build a foundation, you get all that set. Then you go to the next step. So he's very carefully got a crafted, it's not a recipe, it's a process that goes into what makes his
So if
gravy
every
so
item
good.
is good, obviously, if every step of the process is that kind of...
Yeah. I'm an engineer by trade, so
See?
it works out. SOPs are what I know. So we do the same thing. But yeah, you're exactly right. We want the meat on the side because we're going to drain it. We use very lean meat anyway,
Right.
but you don't want any of that grease inside of that pot.
Right.
But with the veggies, we do a little olive oil and some water to get those translucent, and we just let that be the base for the next pot because then it's got oil in it. Nothing's going to stick.
Right.
Every time you add something that's room temperature or less than the heat of the wall of that pan, you got to give it a dance before it gets nasty.
Yeah.
See, it's cooking is not what people think it is.
That's right.
No.
I hate to say it, Americans overall are fairly lousy cooks.
Well,
However,
pretty broad.
now as a broad sweep, look, any country that sells you a device that comes with a code to cook your food for you is not a
Right.
culinary country.
Right.
On the flip side of it, on the exact opposite end, we have amazing festivals like this where individuals really get in and push the limits of what we can do in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And because keep in mind, there are 40 competitors out here all aiming for the same prize, basically with the same product.
Well,
But you're going to have 40 different processes, 40 different spice mixes, 40 different. It's all going to be. Everyone is going to be just slightly different. And even if you gave each team out here the exact same ingredients, the exact same everything,
Yeah.
you would still get 40 different flavors.
Scott, I'll give you this, man, because we got here. Ditch and I were here at like 6:45 this morning, and I have to say, I think you guys were the first team
Usually
that was
are.
here.
Each year we usually are.
And that says I'm looking at a couple tents that they haven't even showed up yet. So maybe there's something to that, man.
Well, you know-
I'm not throwing anybody under the
Yeah,
bus,
yeah,
but hey,
yeah.
man, you got to work for this. So
Well, they like to cook the day before. They
Oh,
like
okay.
to like to
Gotcha.
do things like we're going to let it rest, and you know what? I'm doing the same thing every time. I'm getting out here and I'm going to work all morning. My guys, we're going to work all morning. We're going to get sweaty. We're going to enjoy what we're doing. And when the judge gets there, I'm going to know I've put some work in. And you feel like it's more passionate talk when I talk to the judges because I just did this. I just did it. I just chewed this dirt, man. Let's
Right.
go at it.
Well, hey, I'll give you this. So if you show up here at the Memphis Italian Fest, in the middle of the park is a gazebo, and you guys are directly across. You got a nice tree here. It's kind of giving you some shade and everything. So when you get here, check out Mama Biondini's tent, and don't just walk in, but you can see the trophies and everything from there. And you're hoping. So tonight, what about 6:00 is when they announce the winners?
Yeah, everybody goes to the stage about 6, and they announce anything Italian as well, which we entered last night and did a stuffed squid.
How did we miss that? We love talking about squid on this show.
man.
So stuffed squid. What does that look? So you take a squid and then you gut it out and then you bake it and it's with an apple in its mouth. Is that a? No, don't look at me that way, Ditch. What does stuffed squid look like?
Does he turn the mic off when he gets pissed at you? Upset at you? Sorry. Anyway, what I do is I go to the international market and I get the squid, and of course the inside's gone.
Yeah, right, right.
But then I chop it,
Yeah.
stuff it, and then toothpicks on the side, put it in some marinara, get it going, nice and nice, and hopefully I win tomorrow.
Stuffed squid.
Tonight.
How did
Going
I
with like
miss
a
that?
ravioli stuffing, or
It's ricotta cheese, the breadcrumbs,
Okay.
a bunch of little mixes and spices.
your lasagna light.
Yes.
I want to
Lasagna
see
light,
this,
yeah.
man. When is that going to be on display? I really want to see
done.
this.
It
Okay.
got
done,
eaten.
man.
It got done. It's
Oh.
over. Hey, but I do want to say this. They have a People's Choice where the 6 finalists all have their gravy blind, and people can pay $10 or something, and they can taste all 6 of the finals
Ooh,
from
there
the year
you go.
before.
Wow.
I'm assuming they're doing it this year. That after COVID, I don't know if everything came back, but if they are, it's right over here by the gazebo as well.
Well, gosh, you guys, there's really no reason to miss the Italian Fest. Fresh air, great family event. It really appeals to people of all ages. There's great music. It's a lot of fun, and of course, there's stuffed squid floating around here, Alan. I mean, what
more do you want,
What more
man?
do you
Come
want?
on.
Well, Scott, I guess we're gonna have to let you go, get back into the kitchen.
Yes,
but
sir.
good luck, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate you dropping in on
problem.
Tool Talk Radio, and Alan and I will probably be visiting if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm going to
We'd
bring you
like
guys
to-
over some gravy to try
Awesome.
when I get
definitely.
it done.
That's awesome, man. Well, Max, you're missing out today, buddy. You're back in the studio. You don't get in on any of this, so.
Hey, I
too
get
bad
to
for
torture you from the ether. That's enough for me.
All right, whatever. Anyway, it sounds like hour 1 of Tool Talk Radio is in the can, but never fear, we're coming back with hour 2. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar, Memphis. We'll be right back.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And welcome to Hour 2 of Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. I should say back at the studio. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And it's not true to say that we're at the studios today, Allan. We're on the road once again. We told people we're going to be here, and boy, we could not have gotten a better day. Knock on wood, I don't see any rain in the forecast. There's just the slightest bit of little clouds, a tiny breeze. We're in the shade right now anyway, but man, it is a beautiful day over here at the 31st Annual Memphis Italian Festival over in East Memphis. We're at the at Marquette Park at the corner of Park and Mendenhall, and man, it's already smelling nice over here, Allan.
Oh, yes, it does. Oh, my goodness.
Italian food, I think, it is my favorite type of food. It's just I can't eat it every day. I mean, the carbs, in my younger days, I could have pasta every day, every day, but not anymore, man. But
it's all about the aroma. It's all the great spices, the basil, the rosemary, the thyme, oregano. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
it's wonderful.
It's kind of a combination festival. They've got lots of, they've got music throughout the day. They've got some of their smaller stages for, somebody doing a little folk music over there, maybe a one-man act or something. Then they've got the main stage, which tonight, I should have pulled it up, Allan. I forgot. I'll check the main acts, but they always have good acts. One time they had the Jefferson Starship here.
Yes,
that was great. That was one of my favorite acts. But they always have good music, and then it's a nice festival atmosphere. There's some little rides for the kids. There's a lot of cool arts and crafts booths. There's some good vendors here.
Oh, yes,
and then, of course, our friend Cindy Williams is here. We're gonna have her on the show shortly anyway.
Oh, good.
But, Max, you're back at the studio, and this is sort of a noteworthy, Max is very into the military. He's a big supporter of our military and history. And Max, we're in lieu of our confession line this year, because we're right around the corner from D-Day. You wanted to do sort of a special deep cut. Is that right?
And now, a deep cut with
That answers
Maximilian.
my question. Yeah.
Fruit Ninja.
There we go. Well, what do you got for us today, Max?
Well, today we have a segment I like to call the devices of D-Day. In other words, the devices and the inventions that help make D-Day successful.
That ties in. I'd call that a tie-in with tools. So, yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of invention and creativity they had to use for that. So,
Well, first off, I'd like to highlight one of the greatest failures, and then also one of the greatest successes that came out of what necessity is the mother of invention, so to say. So, the ultimate failure I'd like to introduce was a device by the name of the Grand Panjandrum. And Allan may know what this is, but I'm going to explain it anyways.
Okay.
So the Grand Panjandrum, or just a Panjandrum for short, was a theoretical wheel that had rockets tied to it and everything on the spokes, and explosives in the center. And the idea was to have it ram through the German fortifications on the Atlantic Wall in order to make room for the heavier devices like the tanks. However, the device literally went up in flames. It lost control, and one of the there were several generals watching it. A cameraman almost got mowed down, and then at the end of it, there was a dog that belonged to one of the generals that ended up chasing one of the rockets that went away.
I hope he made it. Wait a minute, Max. This sounds a lot like. For one thing, it sounds like the motorcycle that General Grievous rides in Star Wars. But the other thing, it sounds like I could have sworn there was a movie like I Am Spartacus or something, like an ancient Greek weapon they basically just rolled a big heavy thing down a hill at the enemies with all sorts of, they lit it on fire or something. Is that
I think you're thinking of the movie Troy. I thought they did that during the quote, during the Trojan War thing in the movie.
Okay, so this is an ancient concept, but it was the same idea. Here, just roll it at the enemy.
Except it was rocket powered.
It's a Da Vinci idea.
Okay,
but it didn't go so good.
Yeah,
it did not.
I feel like we did things like that with bottle rockets when we were kids on the 4th of July on our bikes.
On your bicycle.
All right, well, let's talk about some successes, though, Max. Is there any other failures you wanted to highlight?
No, but I want to talk about the success, and I'm going to get to it in a little bit.
Okay.
But this success actually owes itself to someone they call, quote-unquote, a Tennessee hillbilly by the name of Robert. And so, Robert, let me first discuss the problem that needed to be solved. So after the fact that, like you go beyond Omaha, Utah, Sword Beach and everything, but now you get into the heart of Normandy. And in Normandy, the Normandy countryside, there's these things called boat cages, which are like hedges that are all around and everything. The hedges are like, they're not like tree lines and everything, but they're like really annoying. Like they're like, you can't get your tanks through them. And if you try to go up them, you expose the vulnerable underside of the tank and everything. And, the Germans are pretty well entrenched in there. They have pretty good fortifications considered, because they had time to set up. Right. So the Allies were at a disadvantage. And so there was a person by the name of Robert and everything. He said, well, why don't we just attach these little spikes to the front of these tanks and everything? It looks kind of like clippers and everything on like that you cut your hair with. And so you use like the steel, you use these little like steel things and you attach them to the front of the tank and they kind of mow through the hedges and everything.
Wow. Okay, this sounds like a lot of things we've been discussing. That sounds a lot like from the confession line a couple weeks ago with the guy sticking a table saw blade on the end of his weed whacker. I don't know, Max. All these worlds are colliding here. So, but you said that was a successful operation.
That was a successful operation, and they ended up being. You just strap them to a Sherman tank or a Stuart tank, and they were called the Rhinos.
Yep.
The Rhino.
Literally push their way through hundreds of years of hedges.
That's awesome. All right, do you got any? I think we can maybe do one or two more, Max. What else you got?
One of the other things I want to discuss was something by the name of Hobart's Funnies, and Hobart's Funnies are a series of devices named after Major General Percy Hobart, who was in charge of the operation and everything. And some of the notables from Hobart's Funnies was this one device. You attach it to the front of like a Churchill tank, which was a British tank, and I think it was called with a bobbin. And so the bobbin, its task was, it looks like it, like a fabric store and everything. It's literally carrying this giant spool of, you might call it carpet, and so like that, and then like it lays out the carpet and everything. And I believe it's like to help with like terrain and everything, because like the uneven nature of like beach terrain. And so you have that was one example of one of Hobart's Funnies. But there was also the Sherman was a really practical tank, by the way. For you could put a lot of just one size fits all thing. Like you could modify the cannons, you could modify the whatever. But one of the interesting things that they added to the Sherman tank, it was called the Crab. And the Crab was these series of chains or these flails that they put on the front in order to try to like activate mines and everything, so that you're not, to destroy mines preemptively, so that you're not running through them and blowing up your own tank.
Wow. By the way, Ditch, if you're out there, Max, if you ever, Max could probably do his own show all about tanks and weaponry and everything, which is very interesting. Max is a very peaceful individual, but he's very fascinated with this. That's pretty cool. And I like the notion that, of course, we always celebrate the bravery of our fighting men and women and everything in uniform. But, man, the ingenuity of, probably guys like us, Allan, out in the field having to fix things or build things or whatever. So it's just it. And of course, we definitely want to give a shout out to all the Rosie the Riveters out there that took care of business. That's a fascinating rabbit hole to go down, studying all of that. And so, yeah, D-Day's coming up. It's a good idea to reflect on all of this, and what a big day that, monumental day that was. So that was good, Max. Appreciate that deep cut, man.
Of course.
All right, now tell me, do we have Cindy Williams on the line? Because she wasn't able to get it. She's still getting ready, I guess. She'll be here shortly, but do we got her, Max?
We do indeed, and
okay. Oh, she has her own walk-up music. Okay, well, there we go. We got Cindy Williams from Shelf Genie of the Mid-South on the line. Cindy, where are you, my friend?
Hi. Well, I'm in Mississippi at my house getting ready to come to the Italian Fest.
Okay.
It starts at 11, so we'll be there. Okay.
You say that with a very defensive tone. I'm not saying you had to be here in person, Cindy, but it would have been nice to see you. But man, you've been here all weekend, and this is your first time out here, right?
It is, and it's 11 to 11, and our Shelf Genie booth requires a teardown tonight at 11 o'clock, and then a drive back home to Mississippi. So I just didn't get my act together to get up there that early. So thank you for having me over the phone.
Well, it's great. And so what are now? Okay, I will say this: when you set up at some of these trade shows that are indoors, you have a pretty impressive setup. I think the one at the Agri Center, gosh, it looked like it was about 40 feet across, 40 feet deep. It was big. It was like its own portable kitchen. Here you have to do a little bit less of a setup, but I still think people are going to get the idea of what Shelf Genie's all about, right? So.
Right, and we have a 10 by 10, vendor booth, and it allows us to interact with folks and answer questions. And we bring a cabinet that has a sample of our pull-out shelving, so that people can see the quality of it and actually get their hands on it, which is a lot of fun because, a print advertisement or even a radio advertisement can't provide that hands-on and the interaction. So we're glad to be out there and visit with everyone. It's a lot of fun.
We always encourage people to check you out in person if you're ever on the road. And you set up at quite a number of events. I mean, that's what you're all about. You love meeting people and letting them see all the Shelf Genie gear in person.
Right, and it's a great opportunity to go ahead and book a free in-home consultation. We bring our designers' calendars with us, and that's our main goal, is just to be available as people are ready. They can stop and schedule that appointment and get the ball rolling. So that's the most important thing, is we get to interact, answer their questions, tell them what to expect with their in-home consultation, and then get that started same day.
Cindy, I know this is kind of, so when you go to different events, I have to feel like, okay, there's a different, demographic that shows up at each event. Do you get, I guess what I'm wondering is, when you go to some place like this, what are you hearing the most of? Is it all about how do we maximize our storage, or how do we get easier accessibility because maybe we have mobility issues or things like that? Or like, what are you hearing this weekend from everybody dropping into your booth?
That's interesting, because that is one of the first questions we ask people. There's something that made them turn their head and look at the pull-out shelving in the closet pantry in our poster, or to see the pull-outs in our physical cabinet. So the answer at our Shelf Genie booth does vary. You're right. It's interesting how different all the events are. And even year to year, like in 2020, the thing was everyone answered, I don't want to get on my hands and knees anymore. I'm tired of sitting on the floor literally to get my pots and pans out. This year, it's more like everything bothers me. That's been the answer in 21 and kind of 22 also. And people are starting to discover that Shelf Genie would be convenient in other parts of the home, not just the kitchen cabinets. We just did a design for a family for their large walk-in pantry, as well as a double door pantry for them. So that is a truly customized walk-in pantry. It's not just your basic, hey, there's a lot of shelving on the wall and a lot of floor space to walk into. We do pantries, but we also do vanities and storage closets. You can put pull-out shelving in furniture, and that's because we are custom. We custom measure, we custom manufacture, we custom install, but most importantly, we custom design with the homeowner in mind, so that, it's truly about that family, their contents that they're storing in their particular space, their workflow, how frequently they access the content. I mean, every part of it is personalized to that family in that home and the way they use their storage space. So now it's all fully accessible. And I do think that that's still the main, to answer your original question, that people do appreciate the most, that, it's all accessible now. And nothing's going to go and get lost in the back of some storage area.
Yeah, well, Cindy,
I don't have to crawl into the storage area either to get it.
Oh, absolutely. Cindy, we've been sitting out here all morning. We're sitting there watching some of these competitors getting ready for their, their cooking competition today at the Italian Festival. And, they've got these portable kitchens, and I'm watching how they're having to dig out things. Because, obviously this is a mobile setup. And I'm not a cook. I know, Allan, this is your wheelhouse. But when you can just reach down, pull out a glide out, grab that saucepan, throw it on the stove. It has to it has to make the cooking situation just that much more enjoyable, more efficient, and just a better place to be, right? I mean,
well, the biggest thing is once you're organized, now you know where something goes.
Right.
Now you're not hunting for that particular spoon, spatula, whisk, pot, pan. When you really get serious about your kitchen, really where things go gets very important, and not wasting space is critical.
Yeah. Hey, Cindy, and I've met some of your clients, and what I thought was interesting was it almost becomes kind of fun to organize their kitchen or their bathroom again. And the kids even get in on it, right? I mean, it's like, hey, wait a minute, I can pull this out with my fingertips, and then that's where that cookie sheet goes, and that's where the other. It really motivates them.
Well, and y'all are speaking of so many great practical reasons, and that's one of the things that really attracted us to the Shelf Genie business. Is it's a very practical home improvement. It's a permanent home improvement. It's truly a wonderful investment in one's home, but more importantly, is an investment in your life, the way you live and function in the most important kitchen. I mean, the most important room in the house. I mean, everyone is in there multiple times a day. That's where the family accumulates and where friends come over. And so the people that are cooking or cleaning and putting things away, it just makes the joy of being with your family and during the meal prep time, and even, putting the meal on the table, it makes it so much more enjoyable and less frustrating. And so your interaction changes, and it just becomes, about the way people live. And they do express in their reviews, which people can read at shelfgenie.com. They can go online and see our actual team on the Memphis page, the Mid-South page, by putting in their zip code or going to shelfgenie.com/Mid-South or /Memphis. It should get you to our page. And there you can not only meet our team, but you can also see the reviews and understand what people say about it changes our life. It changes our living completely. And they love it. They're over the top ecstatic after they have their Shelf Genie installed and can't wait to put everything back in.
Yeah, Cindy,
Allan said, in its place.
Allan and I met you a few years ago at one of these home shows, and we were set up there just minding our own business. We're doing our radio stuff, and I'm like, what is going on? That booth has been nonstop over there. We're looking at your booth, and all these people just getting excited. You were very, you got it very structured. It looks great, and you're taking appointments. You're demonstrating, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely hitting a niche. People, this is really getting people excited. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we are unique in that, like I said, the Shelf Genie approach is truly a custom experience from start to finish. So it is not just you're buying pull out off a shelf and hoping it fits properly. We're going to make sure it fits properly. We're going to make sure it's installed properly. But most importantly, it is going to be right for everything about you, the homeowner. And that is so distinctive. So we hope people will come by our booth today at the Italian Fest. We'll be there at 11, and they can see our Shelf Genie demonstration. Like you said, we have a little demonstration cabinet to fit in our space, and they can book their free in-home consultation. Everything is in-home. This is our only, opportunities to display or at the different events. And we will do a 3D design with their kitchen while we're in their home, so they can see their cabinets with their Shelf Genie solutions installed, and then it does really come to life visually for them in that personal way. And we'll also price it to the penny while we're in their home consultation, so they could even order on the spot if they wanted to, because it is the price. It's not an estimate, it's not a quote, it's the price, and we'll get that ball rolling as fast as they'd like us to get started.
Don't undersell that, Cindy, because Allan, you and I have been through this. You call a contractor. And I'm in this business, Cindy, but I have to hire people from time to time. And they're like, okay, thanks. They come and they give you the estimate. Hopefully they're there on time. Not always, or hopefully they show up. Then it's one of these, okay, well, I'll call you or I'll email you or I'll something. And it could, honestly, I've had times where they don't even get back to you, or it's they get back to you a week later, and you still really haven't even ironed out the terms or the price or the scope of work and everything. And it's like people don't want to play games like that. And you come in, you give them a firm price. It's a free consultation. Everybody there involved with Shelf Genie is you go to Shelf Genie school. Everybody from the top to the bottom. It's a very tight operation you run. It's very impressive, and I think they love the fact that you give them a firm quote that day there.
That's right. Well, and I just love that you brought that up, because we are a team. We work together, and everyone is certified. Our designers are certified in the Shelf Genie process. Our installers have to be certified to install our product, because we offer a lifetime guarantee. And so our team, though, these are contractors who own their own business, our designers and our installers, and yet they're also part of the team. So they have a buy-in. They're professionals. They're business owners. And we're going to see to it that we take care of our clients, and they're super happy.
Well, Cindy, we're gonna give your contact information in a minute. We're hitting a hard break here, so we're gonna let you go, but we'll see you up here at the Memphis Italian Fest in just a little bit. You're listening to Tool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here at News Talk 98.9 The Roar, Memphis. We'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
You have no skills and you're a loser!
News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis.
Wow. You know, when we're on the road, Max just really cuts loose with these, cutting rejoiners. Anyway, I don't know. Chill out, Max. Anyway, welcome back to
you
Tool
guys
Talk
chill
Radio.
Out.
Coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios, I should say the mobile Brown Refrigeration headquarters.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm liking this Brown studio on the road.
Larry, you can give us this setup every week, man. We would love
it.
I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our buddy Max over there back at the studio. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And, of course, we invite you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. Allan, I've already posted the must-have item of the week, and I also posted the video from my adventure with a snake that we're gonna, it's interesting. You never know what you're gonna come across here in the Mid-South when you're working. True. But before we get to that, we cut off. Sorry, Cindy, we had to let you go quickly. We hit the break quicker than I thought, and we didn't give out all the contact information for Shelf Genie of the Mid-South. But for one thing, if you're going to come to the Italian Festival over here at Park and Mendenhall in East Memphis at Marquette Park, make sure you drop by the Shelf Genie booth and see what we're talking about. When you meet Cindy, you're gonna see what a dynamic personality she is, and she's here with her sister Michelle, and they're cut from the same cloth, Allan. They get very excited about this work that they do. But you can get in touch with them in the meantime at 901-422-8225 or go to shelfgenie.com/Mid-South Memphis. And, of course, when you call, make sure you tell them that you heard about Shelf Genie here on Tool Talk Radio. Allan, we're a little backed up. Okay, I was holding this because I thought our buddy Jay Hill was going to drop by from Big M Roofing and Remodeling. He said he's going to get here shortly, but he's actually working right now. The guy never lets up. So
he's had a busy year.
Yeah, he
just won't let up on him.
That's how he rolls. But anyway, if you've got any roofing issues or if you've got an interesting remodeling project, but we talk about the roofing because Jay offers, for one thing, they put in roofing systems. That's what they're all about today. And these are roofing systems that are they have a lifetime transferable warranty. These are, I can't really get over that. That just sort of amazes me, Allan. A lifetime transferable warranty. You sell the house to somebody, the warranty carries over to them.
Just got mine.
You've gotten a new roof from Jay Hill. I've gotten a new roof. Brandon Olmstead. I've referred him many times and had other satisfied customers. But he's a GAF Master Elite Installer, 5 stars with the Better Business Bureau and Good Housekeeping. But the interesting hook that we always promote here is that Jay is a former insurance agent. So when it comes time to consider if your roof replacement or repair is going to be covered by your homeowner's insurance, well, he's the perfect person to navigate that system. He He understands what the process is. He's been through there. He knows the protocols. And really, it seems like a very daunting project, but when he shows up, it kind of puts you at ease, and you see a path forward. And it's like, I will say this, Allan, we had a path forward with the roof replacement on my on my house through our insurance. It was covered by our insurance, and for years I was dreading. I knew we had to replace the roof at some point. Right. And when Jay got into the picture, all of a sudden, it was just, it just put our mind at ease. And we are very satisfied with the roofing system he put in for us. So,
well, we've all talked in the past about why you would hire a professional. And I will tell this story every time we talk about this. There was no greater sense of well-being
right
when I'm listening to the gentleman from the insurance company and Jay Hill talk in insurance terms.
Yeah.
He the biggest thing is he understood every term, every form, every language, every nuance of what they were discussing.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
No.
Just plain and simple. I did
and let's
not.
face it, you don't just pick up the phone and hope for the best with something like this. You need an advocate. And so not only do you get like a first-rate, craftsmanship and a great roofing system, you get an advocate, and it's basically a free consultation. There's really no reason not to call Jay when you have any roofing issues. And you might not need a replacement. He might be able to basically do a roof repair, but The good thing is he can put your mind at ease. So get in touch with Jay at 901-484-5645 or go to bigmroofingandremodeling.com. And he's dedicated, Allan. If he's missing a chance to hang out here, eat Italian food, have fun, with us, or, well, maybe that's not the big selling point, but if he's turning, saying no to that in favor of getting his work done, what a dedicated person he is.
He is an expert at his field.
Yep. Oh, the reasons for him not being here are sitting right in front of you.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. All right, hey, Max, we've got a Critter Wars to report here.
That's the most foul, cruel, and bad-tempered rodent you ever set eyes on. I just wanted to hug.
Oh, rats in the kitchen, just like that delightful movie I taped in the theater.
I still want to see that, the Homer Simpson bootleg version of Ratatouille. I don't know. All right, hey, Max, so I think maybe it's not correct to call this a war because I'm the one, maybe this is human war. I was the oppressor in this situation.
You were the aggressor, okay.
Well, we've talked nonstop about this. If you've listened for any number of weeks to our show, you know that I've gotten onto this job that I'm really enjoying, but it's just... It doesn't end. I built her, this woman, Becky, great lady, built with screen and porch for her. Then suddenly there was this 200-foot brick and wood wall that needed more or less a lot of refurbishing. Well, we're finally at the stage, Allan. It's been rebuilt. I've taken care of all of the wood. Now we're down to the final touches, and we're going to paint the cinder block. It's basically a textured cinder block wall. It's about 8 feet tall. Well, it came time to prime this baby. So when I'm down at the bottom, I just got, it's right up against dirt. So I'm not all that worried about how I cut in. I'm basically slapping that, slinging and flinging, as you would say. I got my big, fat, chunky 3-inch brush, and I'm cutting in at the bottom by the dirt.
Right.
Well, so I took a swipe, and all of a sudden this little snake slithered. He was like, it was camouflage. I didn't see it up against the wall. And I have to admit, I got him pretty good. I'd say the snake took about a 50% coverage.
Oh, goodness.
With my concrete primer, and then he slithered off, and I felt terrible. I'm like, oh my gosh, this has got to be miserable. It's going to dry. It's going to whatever. And I was looking for him. I was going for the nuclear option. I found a 5-gallon bucket. I was going to fill it up with water, rinse him off if I could catch him.
Going to wash the snake.
I'm sitting there doing all this. And then here we go, Allan. A few minutes later, he slithers out again, and he has no paint on him.
Nope.
Okay, so I have several questions emerge here, Allan. For one thing, I was relieved. I was like, oh, my gosh, this is a resourceful snake. But what is the deal? Do you think he went underground? Because it was a dry day. I mean, Did he crawl through dirt? Well, how did this happen? It was a scientific curiosity at that point. So
Well, you were dealing with.
Sorry, and I have video. I took video of the snake in the aftermath, and you might see a little drop of gray primer on it, but mostly it was primer free. So go to our Facebook page and you can see it. But Allan, what was going on with this guy?
Well, you've got a variety of things. Well, one. You've got the chemical composition of the snake scales themselves. They are.
I knew we'd get into this.
Well, they are environment resistant.
So they're used to having to.
They're used water stuff, things, and as you said, he is a ground snake.
Well,
he is a little typical garden snake that we have in the Mid-South, and they go under dirt, logs, bushes, leaf piles. They're used to slithering through things.
Well, that's a good point because he's not covered in dirt,
Right. Their scales are designed to be environmentally resistant.
I was wondering, this is a deep cut, but you remember that X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, with those robots that basically they were trying to wipe out all the mutants in the Marvel universe, and they had this ability, like they were almost like scales, like a snake skin. They could either repel fire, or they could turn to ice, or they could do whatever. It almost is. I'm picturing that little tiny scales flicking this thing off, or was it like, did they have like a shellac finish on them or something?
Well, they do have a kind of a non-stick coating, if you will, of
you got a Teflon snake.
They're designed again to slither as frictionless as possible through their substrate.
Right.
So the fact that you got something on him, he went and headed back up underneath where he felt safe.
Yeah.
And as he moved through the dirt and substrate that he lives in, all of your primer got wiped off.
I was impressed too because this is a quick drying primer, and this is that extra bond stuff.
Right.
This will almost stick to glass.
This was a quick moving snake.
Yeah.
He went, no, we're not doing this, and headed straight back and began rubbing and got his scales clean.
Now we've preached from the mountaintops. I only use latex products outside,
right.
So this was a latex primer. What would have happened if it was an oil base? That's where I feel like it would have been dicier.
Well, again, depends on the chemical reaction with the scales. But again, the scales are environmentally resistant.
Right.
He is designed to be able to slither through water, debris, stuff.
Yeah.
He's designed for this.
Well,
now you shouldn't dip him in paint and see what happens.
Well, that's
kind of thing. Right.
Well, that was the thing because I was thinking this is just another reason, folks, not to use oil-based materials for the outside of your home.
No,
if this was among other things, but then if this was an oil-based product, there's no way I could wash the snake off with like paint thinner.
No.
That would be bad. So
that would be worse.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was very interesting, and it made me kind of wonder about the chemical makeup and all the others. So I was relieved. And like I said, folks, I got video footage. Maybe you could go to our Facebook page, zoom in, see if you can see any remnants of the primer. But I think he got it off.
That's a little garden snake, and keep in mind their little scales are similar material to your fingernails.
Yeah.
And that your fingernail is designed to be resistant.
Right.
So guess what? It was no harm, no foul. He had a little bit of an adventure. He probably talked about the giant alien that dropped stuff on him, and he's talking to his friends today. Stay away from the wall.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, so that was good. I wouldn't call it a war. It ended in peace. It was an inadvertent encounter.
A little peace and action. And this is an example of don't overreact.
Right. Yeah.
Just because it was a snake didn't mean it was bad. Didn't mean it was trying to bite you.
No, I was trying to pick it up.
He's trying to go his way.
Right. Yeah.
He wanted nothing to do with you.
No. But and I guess I got to come up with a name for this snake. I like to name these creatures that I encounter. I'll come up. If you've got a suggestion for a name of this snake, let us know. You can call or text us anytime at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901. Old Painty. There you go.
Yeah, Quick Eagle, Quick Reach Snake,
901-683-0989. Or if you've ever encountered an animal that you accidentally got paint on, send us a picture. Hopefully you got it off safely and everything. So, all right. Hey, Allan, in a minute we got to get to our must-have item of the week. We don't want to run out because this is one of my favorite ones. But also, what's going on? I've noticed that the Dark Oak Media crew is floating around here. So,
we have folks everywhere. So let's just see. Scott J. Carroll is here filming another episode of CC Spotlight because, well, let's face it, this place is full of food.
I mean, it's food, it's pops, it's interesting people, it's a beautiful environment, so he's here for sure.
We have our wonderful photographer and friend of the show, Angel Lodson, is running around taking lots of photos of everybody.
Yeah, spoiler, she provided the must-have item of the week, too, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, she's because, one thing I've criticized you with, Allan, is you don't always take pictures of these things.
Brought a photographer this time. We got plenty of pictures going on today.
Okay.
So it's been a great week of... people can just pop over to darkoakmedia.com and keep up with our various misadventures. And, of course, we'll have lots of pictures and stuff from today's event.
Yeah.
And once again, I want to give a quick shout-out to, on the podcast front, if you go to Facebook and go to Tool Talk Radio on Facebook, you can click through and find Tool Talk Radio along with Geek Tank Radio and the Cooking Today Show. We've got lots of listeners around the world these days. We've added Scotland. Quick shout out to our folks that popped up in New Zealand, and we have a growing, United Kingdom following.
Yeah, that's great, man. So so greetings to all of you. I hope you'll call or text us or something. But it's great that's the fun part about radio. These days you can have listeners all over the world, which is, fun. So, and if you miss any past episodes, like we said, Allan posts all of them. They're on Spotify, YouTube, other platforms. So
absolutely.
It's definitely, this is a red letter day. I'm sure you're going to get lots of material out of this one.
Oh, yeah. Give us a like and subscribe.
Yep. And then, Allan, and then just my little shameless plug, just a reminder, if you've got a deck or a patio cover or a screened-in porch or a pergola or, anything made out of wood for the outside of your home, that's what I like. It's funny, I showed a picture of this snake the other day that I got the primer on to my wife, and she said, man, you have more encounters with these animals. Like, 'cause I'm seeing frogs, turtles, raccoons, everything. Well, that's one of the fun things. That's one of the reasons I like to work outside. I almost never get sick either, Allan. I have to believe that's the fresh air and not,
We keep you away from people.
Yeah. So get in touch with me. You can call me directly at 901-921-7105 or go to my website, thorshomes.com. And I hope I said the name of my business slow enough because I've been told I say it too fast. Anyway, Max, we want to get to our must-have item of the week. So, Allan, I've already posted this, and I don't know, this is something you'll probably have to hunt for, but tell people what I'm holding up here.
You are holding a novelty hammer pen.
Okay, and they're like, what the heck is this all about? It is a beautiful, it's the size of a pen. It's got a nice heft to it. Our friend Angel Lodson, as we said, she's one of the best supporters of the show. She's been listening, or I should say suffering through ever since the beginning. But this pen, the reason I like it, Allan, believe it or not, this little hammer pen that
actually
I've got,
works.
It works, and it's like, I don't know what it is, but this pen motivates you. It's and you got one. She gave you, I think it was an adjustable wrench pen. I have to admit, I think I like mine better though, because this
I have actually used mine.
This almost works on a little finishing nail or a tack or whatever. But the bigger thing is, it puts you in mind. Well, and it's a great pen actually. It works really well. You can even, I think, replace it once it slides out. I think I could replace the
pen guts
when it came to it. I don't know. For some reason, though, I feel like the motivational factor is important on this thing. It makes you want to go pick up a hammer and get working, man.
Well, it's also kind of cute in the toolbox, and you always got a pen on hand because you always need a pen or pencil.
Yeah, good branding. I mean, if you have this pen floating around and you're doing carpentry work or whatever, that's kind of a no-brainer, you know. So, but Angel, I thought we wanted to showcase this great gift that I keep it with me every day, and it gets a lot of use, and it was very kind of her to do that. So, I thought it deserved a salute for the week.
Absolutely.
So. Well, Allan, you've been very, I have to say, I thought there'd be more food references from you today.
You've talked more about food than I have.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you think? What are you going to do when we get off the air here? Because we got a couple
hours.
What do you think
I'm going to do? I'm going to bolt for a table. What are you talking about?
Well, what do you think of the operation? I'm looking across the tent. I mean, I'm seeing people firing up grills. I'm seeing a lot, almost an assembly line process.
It smells so good out here.
So, I mean, so what do you think? So, what?
Well, we're getting to showcase a side of cooking that I think every home cook, if you're not a big kitchen person, it's hard not to get motivated going to a food-based festival.
Yeah.
Because you will learn lots of tips and tricks. Because, like we said earlier, food is not necessarily cooked. Food is assembled.
That's what you said. I didn't get it, but I think I see your point. So,
well,
yeah.
For these people here, they all have a process and a goal.
Yeah.
And they are out to get this done. And last week, I had a chance to chat with Dan, the Lego Man. And he was talking about his big party he had to feed a lot of people at. And so he and I got to talking about, some grilling tips.
I heard your food dude segments on the morning news are they're good every Thursday morning.
And so we have a lot of fun with this. And what's kind of weird is everybody's kind of like, well, you love food and you do tools. And you're like, they're not that different.
No, Scott was an engineer, the guy that's won this thing 6 years in a row. So, I mean, yeah.
There are a lot of correlations between what you and I do as our day jobs and what I do as my evening occupation.
Right.
Of when you think about setting up your kitchen, it's just like setting up your workspace. If it's cluttered and disorganized, it's difficult to get your work done.
Yeah.
And for any professional, your work area is laid out for you. I've seen your garage, Joe, and it's pretty tight. Well, you kind of know where your stuff. Yeah, it's a little junky.
It's
here
better
and
now.
there.
It's pretty clean now, actually. So, yeah.
But it's pretty tight. If you get in there and you decide, all right, today we're going to build a table.
Right.
You know where everything is in there. You need to build a table.
Yeah.
Now, when you get out to a festival like this and you walk over to these booths, you get a very similar effect.
That's what I'm noticing. This reminds me exactly of like I said, if I go build a screened-in porch for somebody,
right.
I set up a command center with my saws and my sawhorses and stuff, and it's the same thing here. They've got that one, they've got a refrigerator over there. They've got a shelf, but they got to really be strategic on what they actually bring. They can't bring everything.
Can't bring everything. You got to bring only the things that are pertinent to the job at hand.
Yeah.
For instance, you and I go on a job site. We don't bring everything, every tool we have.
No, you can't.
Sometimes it looks like it, but we really don't.
No.
We have a whole garage full of tools back at home that we didn't bring because they weren't germane to what we were trying to get done. So when you look across here and you look at the way the different tents are set up, you can tell that different cooking teams have different priorities.
Right.
Some of them have grills. Some of them have, our friends right across from us, they are all about that gravy.
Yeah. Well, and I'm seeing, this morning I was seeing them cutting a lot of vegetables and pressing things and doing whatever. It seems like that's what they're all about. They're just paying attention to all the details. And, of course, they've won Mama Biondini. How do you say her name? Biondini. I'm sorry.
Yep,
Sorry,
Biondini's.
Scott. I think I mispronounced it. But anyway, you guys, we're going to be here all day today. We want you to drop by the News Talk 98.9
come by and see us.
Booth. We're going to be doing, so coming up, we've got the Real Deal Racing Report right after us. And this is interesting, Allan. Ditch and Bud are going to be doing the Motor Mouth live. So that's fun. And that starts at 11, and that's when the festival opens. Then you and me and Brandon Olmstead will be back on for Geek Tank Radio. And by then,
this place is going to be rocking.
It's going to be open, and I think we might have a plate of food with us. So,
we'll
be well fed and everything. But we hope you'll get down here. Check out the Memphis Italian Fest. Probably just go to their Facebook page, or you can go to their website. It's in Market Park in East Memphis at the corner of Park and Mendenhall. A lot of fun. It's just you could not have gotten a better day. I've been to these things for 25 years, Allan, and this is hands down one of the best, weather-wise, one of the nicest days we've ever had. No rain,
amazing.
No mud. We're not tracking through, any of that. So, and it's something for all ages. Bring your kids, and you're going to enjoy the music tonight. It's a real party atmosphere. Very cozy, very safe. We're right next to the first aid booth. What are they?
Well,
Did they
I
know
think that's
something
on
about us
purpose.
here?
Yeah, I think that's on purpose. So
Anyway, well, you've been listening to another diverse and action-packed episode of Tool Talk Radio, but it's time to get out of here. So on behalf of my friends Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there back at the studio, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening to Tool Talk Radio, and we'll see you next week.